So,
Come home.
welcome to the Snap of Soul office powered by Real Estate One. Speaking of Real Estate One, we just got out of an excellent seminar. What do they call it? What do they name it?
They called it the town hall meeting.
Town hall
Not
meeting.
sure why.
Well, I felt like I was in a town hall meeting. We got a bunch of great information,
Yes.
a lot of it which we already knew, but kind of brought us down to earth so we can kind of baseline it and really help you guys see what was going on in the real estate market today.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, let's not avoid the elephant in the room, and that is, where the hell has Hannah and Will been? It has been months. Maybe not months, but it feels like a very long time, and I just want to say I can't apologize enough, because we absolutely love doing these videos, but we have to have a work-life balance, and I think we're finally getting back into the swing of things, being able to manage our business, which, again, thank you guys so much. Because you're keeping us so busy, it kind of doesn't keep us from doing this, but we're more focused on that.
Right.
But this is very important to us, and you make time for what's important to you. So this is us attempting to get back into the swing of things and do this on a weekly basis, if not more. We want to bring more professionals to the camera. For a while there, we were getting lenders on the camera, mortgage lenders. We were getting title companies on, and we're going to continue to do that, hopefully on a weekly basis, so we continue to give you guys market updates as far as where interest rates are at, which we're going to speak about here. But we're going to give it to you straight from the professional's mouth, people that actually handle and look at the statistics on this every single day, so they can counsel their clients, our clients, right? We're here to mainly make sure that you get the house of your dreams, and that we properly advise, counsel, and represent you guys in the buying of the home process. But we also like to be on the back end and also make sure that we're educating you guys on what the market's doing as far as mortgage interest rates, changes, and different things like that.
Yes.
So, the good news we got today was that bad news equals good news, right?
Yes, it's kind of quirky. It's not what I was expecting to hear, but
It makes sense,
makes
though.
sense.
It
Yeah,
makes sense if you
100%
put it-
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, go ahead. I'll let you go ahead and
Okay.
jump on it.
I'm gonna try, because my head was kind of spinning when I was hearing this, because I was almost like, I think this is kind of crazy that this is how it's got to work out for our interest rates to drop. So really what's got to happen right now, because right now obviously the economy is really high, right? So that equals high interest rates. Another thing too is the employment rate is really high. More people getting paid, that's more money that the feds and everybody's got to give out. Another thing too is that wages are going up. So all three of those things equal for higher interest rates, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people not.
Because inflation's high.
Yeah, right,
Exactly.
exactly. But the beautiful thing that we can, since you brought that up, is that we were looking at a chart earlier, which we'll throw into this video. It's inflation actually has gone down slightly. Interest rates are still kind of peaked above it, but over the last 30 years, it's shown that when inflation goes down, the interest rates go down.
Right.
Telling when? Who knows?
Right.
It's a crystal ball question.
This
but
is easily the most important thing that we can say here is that when people are when they reach out and they ask us specifically, what do you think that interest rates are going to do? And a lot of people have their opinions on what happens, but let's face it, I'm not an economist. I mean, unfortunately, I get sucked into that world. I don't like to be, and I hate to say this, the boring guy that shows you the graphs, all this stuff, because hey, listen, that puts me to sleep. I do find it enjoyable sometimes,
right.
but with interest rates, it's just hard to say. There's so many different factors. The housing market is one of the biggest factors that affects inflation as a whole.
Yes, yeah.
But it's hard to say. Even the economists, most economists right now that have made their prediction on interest rates did not see us getting into the high sevens, mid sevens.
We were all expecting to be drop. Not we. They all were expecting for it to drop, and everybody's been wrong so far. I don't want to say everybody. I'm sure there's been a few people out there that have said, that they're going to keep hiking up until.
Yeah, they're definitely out there, but the big time economists have said mutually the same thing, that we were going to see, and they weren't going to go up this high.
Right.
But of course, inflation had a big impact on that. Yes. There's no crystal ball to really tell for sure what's going to happen, and this is a perfect point in what we're dealing with now. So we look back at the big time dogs, the ones who really, for the most part, looking at historically, are right.
Yes.
They have not been correct. Even I was very confident that we were going to settle in and around that 6%. I was hoping high fives. and I just looking at where the economy was headed,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I even knew. So, but here's the thing: you got to be straightforward, got to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really knows. It's how the economy rolls, and if we know anything about America, sometimes we just don't know where the hell we're headed. So that is the fact. So right now, just clearing the air with what interest rates are going to do, because that's a question we get a lot, right? We have buyers that are like, hey, do I want to sit and wait for the interest rates to come down? Because last year, when Will and Hannah told us to buy, and we said, no, I think I'm going to hold off for this, and this reason, and now they're here, and this is not calling anybody out, this is just saying, like, hey, when Will and Hannah told you, like, based on what we're seeing now, even if I told you that, I'm thinking, sixes, mid-sixes,
Mm-hmm.
last year wasn't even at that point, so,
Right.
or we were close. I can't remember looking back last year, but now this is having impact on your purchase power, right? Your purchase price, like
Right.
that's obviously changed based on your interest rate, has a big impact on that.
100%.
But what was I going into with that?
Were you going into like the waiting for rates to drop and then
Oh,
housing prices?
Yeah. So either way you slice the cake right now, when we look back at the scary or the beautiful, elegant, just the 3% is like it's an insane thing to even say. One day I'm gonna look at my great grandkids and say, back when I was first getting into real estate, there was the 3% interest rate to buy a home, which is a steal. It's like, hey, they're basically just handing you this money and you're not really doing much. But
Crazy, yeah.
the bigger thing is a conversation that we had, and this is going outside of really the knowledge that we have to bring to you guys. But it's good to know is that we are really the ones being in the industry that are delivering on this scary news of interest rates. Okay, because if we go back to the 80s, I think it's the 70s or 80s. We just looked at this map, not the map, the graph. But we're looking at 15% interest rates. They are
terrifying.
higher than what we like to see in general. But this is not an insane interest rate, right? Them going up continuously is definitely a headache. But for the buyers out there that weren't in the market last year and didn't, unfortunately, when they were planning on buying, said, no, wait, and we advised them not to do that. Unfortunately for them, they're in this boat now with like, oh my God, my purchase price went way down. But the buyers that are just hitting the market, don't let the little things like an interest rate be the biggest impactful thing on you.
Right.
Of course, if you want a house and you want it at this price and the interest rate's what's holding you back, then make the decision that best suits you.
Right, 100%.
But the sky is not falling. You have to remember why you want to buy a home. Is your family growing? Is this a life change? Are you moving or relocating?
Yeah.
It's because the craziest thing to me is like when you go to get a credit card and the interest rate on the credit card is like 17%.
Right.
Or the interest rate on financing a car. Or
yes,
rental, right?
Or rental, right?
And you're looking at, depending on your credit score, you can be up to like almost 25%. I mean, it's crazy 100%. To say that. Hopefully you're not at 25%. I was there for a minute, my first car, because I was a dumb kid. But
right, and the thing about a car too is like another thing that our president threw out there is like if you have some clients that are like on the fence, like should I buy a house or I'm kind of wanting like a new car. Well, you got to think about it this way, right? The car, as soon as you buy it, it depreciates the minute that you get it,
mm-hmm.
right?
Oh, yeah, as soon as you drive it off the lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You buy a house, 9 times out of 10, especially in this market, the way things are going, it's appreciating on its own. So
that's true. That's very true.
You gotta weigh out the odds.
That is an excellent point, and that's why the president's the president, right? That's why he's sitting in his big old office, and I'm sitting in my 10 by 10 square right here, right now. No, but that was great information. That was a great perspective to put on it. Mm-hmm. Or like you were just saying, a rental property, right? A rental property is 100% interest, right?
Yes.
And again, some people it just makes more sense.
Sometimes it makes more sense, absolutely.
For them to rent, and I'm never saying that it's a bad thing, but if we can make it make sense to you, and there's a lot of reasons why buying a home it makes more sense than renting, then we'll do that. But that's just the interest rates portion of it because we're a lot of people are saying this is what's sticking the market. That is very true, right? There are a lot of people that purchased. I mean, what's the number on that? Over 44, or I'd say at 44% of current homeowners have a 3 to 4% interest rate, and I think you even said like 30%.
Yeah, and so I think it's 30% have less than a 3% interest rate. So 70% of homeowners right now have less than a 4% interest rate, which is another reason why our inventory is so low. Because you have that, you're not moving unless you like absolutely have to. Like if you get like you were saying like a new job or you outgrow your house or
Yes.
you get more income and you just want, a little bit more for yourself.
There are
Like,
definitely
those are really the only three things that
Yeah.
are getting those people out of that 70%.
and see, this is what's scaring a lot of the people in our industry, I think, but it's not scaring me yet. There's a couple things, there's a couple less playing pieces on the chessboard now because of that interest rate. But
Yes.
it's never going to change. People are always going to need to buy a house, and
Yeah.
people are always going to have to leave their house to make a life change, right?
Yes.
If you're having more kids and families continue to grow,
Right.
if you're moving for a job position,
Mhm.
there's always going to be reasons for people to buy and sell. So that does not scare me, but
Right.
that is a lot. I mean, if that tells you something, if currently right now over 70% of homeowners have an interest rate of up to 4% or less, then that tells you that how much of the market is stuck
Yes.
right there, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
It's insane.
There's more homes being built now that these home builders are not as scared of this crash that everybody was so frantic about for a long time. Obviously,
So
it hasn't
this is
happened, and there's enough demand in the market on a national standpoint,
Mhm.
let alone the downriver area or southeast Michigan. There's enough demand
yeah.
to soak up anything. I mean,
Yes.
anything that can happen. Like even right now with the interest rates where they're at, we have enough demand to absolutely crush that. It is insane we are still, on average,
Very
for
aggressive.
an average buyer right now, it takes up to 5 offers. And that
For
is
it
just,
to get
that's just an
accepted, yeah.
average statistic that tells you what the average buyer, right? Sometimes you come in swinging, you get that first offer
Right,
accepted.
yeah, and we've seen it happen,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, we're even feeling it right now. We have a couple clients right now that are on at least their third offer,
Yeah.
and it's tough. It's tough, but
Or fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth offer. I mean, you just can't beat it. I mean, like, listen,
Yeah,
I can
it's
talk my way out of a
aggressive. It is
paper bag, but if I have a finance loan and this is my cap and it's already $20,000 over asking, and this is because my buyer said I want this house that bad,
Right.
and then you're competing with another cash offer
Yeah, there's a
that's
lot of
$40,000 over asking. I mean, what are you gonna pick? I can tell you, hey, listen, I'll clean your house every day for a week. Every day for a week, that's funny, but I mean, there's only so much you can do. How much,
Yeah.
there's only
How
so
much you can
pull
give?
have.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's just the way it is right now, and it's been continuously. No matter, even with interest rates doing what they're doing right now, if that doesn't tell you
How aggressive it still is. Yeah.
how it still is,
like,
even with the interest rate, how the inflation, and again, 40%, right? Is it 40%
well,
of
70. Wait, I'm sorry. what
of the market, of what's causing inflation to be so high? 40% of that is because of the housing market.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
with that said, it's like even where it's at, if that has so much impact, we are still seeing, because of the lack of inventory, because everybody's stuck on that great interest rate that they have,
Yeah.
we
mhm.
still have this insane amount of demand and not enough supply. This is why inflation continues to soar, and that's not changing because people need to buy houses.
Right, 100%. And this is another reason why we're still steadily seeing prices being hiked up
Mhm.
because it's still aggressive. Like another statistic that I'll throw out to you guys is that just within the last week, 60% of the houses that are on the market went pending within a week.
Mhm.
So it just that right just shows you how much aggression is still out there and how many people are still shopping, even though the interest rates are a little I don't want to call them scary because they're at a healthy rate. So I don't want to say that they're scary, but they're a little
starting to feel
higher
a little-
than
I'm
what they
starting to feel a
have
little
been.
unhealthy with that. With going into the sevens, I'm like, you know what? If we settle at 6, then it's something that we can deal with, right?
Mhm.
We're putting people that could have bought a $250,000 house at a 3% interest rate, then now they can buy a $120,000 house. I mean, that's just what they can afford based on their debt to income, based on their, there's just so many things. It does have big impact. And so it can knock a lot of buyers out. But where it's knocked those buyers out, there are plenty more new buyers coming to the market. So that is not changing. And to your point, you said about 65%. 65% of homes, yes, have went pending, but also 65% of homes have closed at or above asking still. So we're still seeing that, if they're not selling at, that's the larger majority, 65%, is selling over asking still.
Yes.
Or at asking. So.
Yes.
And the numbers don't lie. That's the truth. That's the fact, right?
Yes, very much so.
So what does this mean? What are we trying to say? Sellers, obviously, and this is just being realistic, right? We promised you guys this from the start. We were going to tell you the facts. We're not over here just trying to get you guys to either buy or sell a house. We're telling you the facts. Sellers right now, you may have a massive amount of equity built into your property, right?
More than likely.
If you're locked in at a great interest rate, what does it make sense to move? That's completely your choice, right?
Right.
Where's your motivation coming from? Are you having another kid? Are you growing? Are you want to downsize?
Yeah.
But something to keep in mind is when, and a lot of people say, I have this great amount of equity now that I've had. I bought the house in 2017. I got $60,000 in equity that I'm walking away with. I can turn around and buy another house. Well, that same house you bought in 2017, if you're going to upsize, right? That same house, you want to go buy a nicer house, is probably going to be
maybe close to double.
double.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and
Yeah.
that's a great way to look at it, right? So because where you see your equity is built in your house, it is definitely built in that way nicer house that you're thinking about buying
Right.
now.
Yeah.
So it's just something to think about, right? Your house is not the only one in the world that has
That is
gained
built,
its
yeah.
value and equity on top of the fact that you now have a new interest rate. So your payment is going to change probably significantly from your 3% interest rate. Not trying to convince sellers not to make the move. It's just being realistic with you. It's
Right.
just being honest and straightforward.
What
But
makes
there
sense.
are ways also, and that's why I'm bringing this to your attention, is that there are ways to buy down your interest rate. There's different ways to shop and to move around. If you're downsizing, then keeping that in mind, that that price is it's gonna be a weird thing. Like if you're selling your house with all this equity and you're going to downsize, how come the house that's nicer that you bought then it seems like it's the same
It's the same price.
interest rate? So
Yeah. Right.
just reel it
It's
in,
gotta,
reel it in.
yeah. So it just has to make sense for you and your situation,
Mhm, mhm.
essentially. Or
Yeah.
it's not gonna, or you're not gonna be able to really convince yourself to sell.
And I honestly I wish I could have left that part out, but it's the
It's the
truth.
facts, yeah.
This is why the market's stuck. This is why demand continues to soar. This is why the really nice houses and those people have to move.
Right.
Bam.
Because this is what people are juggling and struggling with right now.
Yeah. So sellers, it's the same story, right? We want to position your house to be the best house because obviously with the demand that we have and over 65% of houses selling at or above asking, we can do that for you, but you want to make sure you listen to the best of the best. Snap a Soul, powered by Real Estate One, and we'll make sure that we do that for you. Buyers, again, we just told you 5 offers on average, and for the buyers out there, our current clients right now, you're watching us, and we ain't lying. It's the truth.
Just be
You're
patient.
struggling.
It'll happen.
Everybody
It'll
is.
happen.
Buyers need to it's the same story it was, right? You're looking, if you're a buyer that has contingencies in place, things like you may need some concessions, which holy cow, if you need concessions, even the ones that are rough, it's hard to get your hands on. But if you have contingencies in place, things that are holding you back, such as another house to sell, we need to make sure that we are focused and honed in on those properties that have been sitting on the market a little bit longer, maybe need a little bit more work. And that is, and if you're not willing to do that, then we need to have another conversation about where our expectations lie, and that's just is that simple. Because if you have a goal of moving in a certain time frame, then it's our job to make sure that we counsel and advise you in order to do that.
Make sure it happens, right?
Make sure that happens, right?
Yes.
So, and with sellers, we already talked about sellers, but it's the revolving door. I anticipate, and I hopefully plan to see that we come to a balance. I don't know if I'm thinking we're looking more into next year where we'll start to see this. What is your opinion?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just because I trust our presidency, they're more so saying that we're gonna kind of finish out this year,
Mhm.
in the 7s, 8s, well, not 8s,
Oh.
we're close to the 8s.
Oh.
We are getting close to them, so I'm only saying that because we're so close. But I do foresee us finishing out this year in the 7s, high 7s, and then slowing into 2024, going to the 6%.
6%.
So,
So maybe William was right. Maybe I get to go talk to these economists and say, hey man, listen, you don't got to be all brains to
maybe
be up
I
here.
got the crystal
all right?
ball.
Maybe I do got the crystal ball. Love to see 6s, but if you guys,
Yeah.
the main part of that is, and that was a great point. If because they see the statistics and they analyze them.
This is what they study,
Yeah. So if they do settle at 6%, eventually there's no crystal ball. Okay. So if your intention is to hold off and wait, do not shoot the messenger or the economist. And I'm not claiming to be that guy. If interest rates go up, because the whole thing is you have to remember there's no crystal ball, there's no way to really analyze what the market's going to do, what the president's going to do, what politics is going to cause during the election
what more
period.
debt we're going to get into over the next year.
You never know.
But
So make sure you know what your goals are,
Yes.
and then decide. Don't listen to the and especially don't listen to the news on what the market's doing, because that is a big thing that we're dealing. Like, it's a big headache. Like, I'm not here to bullshit you, and that's just the truth. The news is telling you one thing about the world, and unfortunately, when they said the world, they didn't mean that. They meant to not include the fact that they're just talking about California, right? I'm telling you about Southeast Michigan, downriver,
Yes.
or wherever we're shopping at in the Michigan area, and that's the fact because I'm studying that, right? The
Yes.
news is telling you something on a global standpoint, and a
Yeah,
lot of times
and
it's bullshit.
That, and it's a few days late. That's usually a normal thing
And that
too.
could be a big part of the
So-
problem too, because maybe they're not necessarily trying to deliver us bad news. It's just that they're
100%.
behind the gun, right? Go figure. The news is like the weather, right?
They
don't really
own
know
all
what
the
hell they're talking
information, right? They can say whatever they want.
about. Right. Yeah.
But I did want to piggyback off of something that you had said. So, I know there is a lot of people that are waiting out there, especially now because interest rates are just showing to keep hiking up. Is if you are waiting for those to come down, I wouldn't say it's the worst decision you could ever make, but it's not the best because we are slowly but surely seeing that prices are steadily going up. So.
Right.
You might wait till next summer, and interest rates are at like a 6%, which would be awesome.
Mhm.
But another thing is that same house costs $20,000-$30,000 less this summer.
Right.
So it's almost
And-
like you almost waited for
Not almost. You're absolutely spending more money. And let me give you
Yeah.
another reason to piggyback
I wanted
on
to
your
say a little
piggyback,
nicer,
baby.
but I couldn't figure out how to.
Yeah, to piggyback on your piggyback, yes. You will absolutely spend more money. And
Mhm.
if interest rates, if and when, and they will, okay, this,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got so many different things
I mean,
going on in
because
my brain.
it's shown, right?
They will, okay? You got to think about what. So all these people that are like, I'm gonna wait for interest rates to drop. They're gonna think they're the best brain in the world, and go figure. Look at you, you are, because you got lucky enough to not even be an economist and you predicted it. Good job. But as soon as those interest rates go down, you are competing with the buyers that are like, oh my God, time to strike.
Yeah, that's
So you
another
are
thing
bidding
too.
against all these other buyers that are coming back. So
Even
either way.
lower.
Either way, even if the house is not $20,000 more next summer, which, but as we can see, you're gonna spend that.
It could be.
You're competing with buyers that now also have that 6% interest rate, and as soon as
Right.
that happens, they're going to take advantage, just like you are. So
So it makes
You're
more
competing.
sense
Yeah.
to, buy now. If it makes sense for you, buy now, and once those interest rates do go down, that's when you refinance and you lock it in.
yeah, baby.
Because
Yeah,
it ain't moving
Now you're
nowhere
talking.
after that unless you refinance when they go down again once more. So
Now you sound like a seasoned agent. Hey, listen, we gonna hustle the
doing this
hustle
for
until the
some
hustle's
years.
hustle, right? Make it work. So we went through everything here. I want to keep this video short as possible. I know we've been gone for a long time, but guys, we are again going to try to bring more professionals to the camera so you guys know firsthand what's happening, more in depth from the mortgage side of things, title side of things, insurance side of things, and maybe we can even find an economist who can give us the wrong information to argue with. Who knows? We'll figure something out.
Keep you guys entertained. Don't you worry.
But as always, unless you wanted to add anything else, are we good?
No, I think that was everything.
Okay, as always, hope you guys missed our faces. If you didn't, I'm so sorry. You're getting nothing but my face from now on moving forward. I missed you guys. I think that's it.
Yeah, it's so nice to do a video.
I know.
Missed that.
Okay. I know. Where have we been, man? Where have we been? I know. We were just talking to somebody that's like, man, it's like, I know because it's a friend of mine, and I joked like, hey, he's like, man, I love your videos. I'm like, that's funny because I never see you like them, share them, do any of that, but that's okay. Thank you for letting me know. He's like, but I haven't
It's
seen
always
you
nice
made a
to
video
hear.
in a long time. And I'm like, damn, I feel bad.
Don't call me out.
Don't call me out because you're damn right, right?
right?
But we're back in the swing of things.
Yes.
Hopefully, I'm saying this time, but no, for real, we're back in the swing of things. Let's do it.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while now.
But as always, guys, don't forget this: it costs $0
And 0 cents
to be a decent human being.
in this world.
We will see
We
you
all
guys.
need it.
We all need to be decent human beings. There's a lot of mean people out there, including me first thing in the morning. God, that morning face ain't nothing special. We'll see you guys on the next episode.